folks. Hello, a very good afternoon. You are very welcome. Thanks for joining today. My name is Rob McGee. I'm the CEO here at Ingenio. And this week, to mark and commemorate and to celebrate International Women's Day, I've been talking with, and I will be talking with 8 female leaders from right across the tech, software and SaaS space. This is a bit of a unique for us, a bit of a first this week, because I'm delighted and very, very proud to be joined not just by a client, but also by a candidate. Sophie Hayes, you're very welcome.
How's it going, Rob? Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. So guys, just a little bit of an introduction. Sophie runs the Sales Academy at an organization, a SaaS organization called Foehn, who are headquartered in London. And Sophie, it would be great, I guess, for those people who are tuned in today who don't know you or don't know Foehn, maybe give us a little bit of a background.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Sophie, I'm 28. I run the Sales Academy at Foehn. So we are sort of the lead gen team who are responsible for qualifying opportunities in and out and pass them over to the senior sales team to sort of to go out, I guess. For those of you who don't know Foehn, so we're an award-winning sort of industry driver in the cloud contact center and customer experience space, essentially focusing on making sure that contact centers are given the best customer experience. I've been at Foehn for about 2 years now, and it's quite good to sort of watch the customer base grow through help from sort of the Sales Academy and lead gen side of things.
Amazing. Sophie, obviously, SaaS as an industry, right? I mean, you guys focus in on contact center, and there are tons of our clients who do a myriad of different things, but lead gen, outbound, business development, sales development these functions are absolutely, like, they're critical in the SaaS business.
Yeah.
And Foehn is particularly close to our hearts here at Ingenio because of what they do from an academy perspective. But can you just explain to people what is a sales academy? What does it do?
So essentially, Sales Academy will take on junior sales people or people who are quite in the early stages of sort of their sales career, and they get really close sort of one-to-one training by myself for a solid 12 months, and that's through call listening, constant sales training. We have a sales trainer who comes in, it's constant development, working with the senior sales and being taken on sort of to go through experience of how the sort of the customer journey works with the senior sales team. I think it's important because it's good that, I've had a guy who just recently came in the Sales Academy. He'd been in the team for 2 years, and now he's gone on to the next step at Foehn, and now he has a senior sales position at Foehn, and he works in the team. And it was quite sad to watch him leave, really, because I worked so close for 2 years with Stuart, and now he's gone and he's doing sort of bigger things now, and I'm like a proud mum, like watching Stuart fly away.
Love it. Big world. Love it. And the objective for you is ultimately to lose your team at a point in the future, right? I mean, you want to be bringing these girls and guys in and then basically letting them fly the coop, as you say.
Yeah. So whether that's sort of the next level at Foehn or they go to another company in the tech space, essentially we are that first stepping stone for them to get them to where they need to be to go into a more senior role. Gotcha.
Okay, really interesting. Okay, well, look, I think there's a lot of people tuned in, Sophie, to pick up tips and hints and clearly learn a little bit more about, I guess, you and what you go and do. And as people will know who've been watching the series this week, we've asked the same 5 questions to eight female leaders, and I think the really interesting thing is getting different answers and different responses to those questions. So look, I'm gonna launch into that one. 28 years of age, you're already very senior at a very young age, and no doubt there's lots of things that you're proud of, I guess, career to date. What's the one thing, Sophie, for you that makes you, I guess, beam from ear to ear more so than you would normally do?
It's quite funny, really. I never really wanted to get into sales. I done a sports science degree, and I came out of there at 21, 22. I didn't really know what I was going to do. I just needed to try and get my foot in the door somewhere. And I went to this sales role. Never really worked in sales before. And I just literally fell in love with being on the phone all the time, the sound of my own voice. I was talking to people all the time. I was helping them. And basically, I was being at the company for about 12 months. And at the time, there was only, I'd say it's been about 5 girls on the whole sales floor of like 34, 35 people.
Yeah.
And all the teams were run by men. And when the line manager role came up, I went for it. And it was all a big hoo-ha in the office. Oh my God, the girl, Sophie's gone for this role. And it was all quite funny. So when I got the role, I was buzzing. And obviously I had a successful team of 6 to 8 agents. There was all guys in my team. And after a couple of weeks of sort of getting them hitting targets, they had the confidence in me, even though I was a female, to run the team. And then eventually they worked for me, essentially. And I don't think it would have got me. I don't think I would be where I am now if I hadn't have had that initial barrier quite early on in my sales career. Now I've got the confidence to take on new roles and responsibilities in my stride now. Massive help for me.
Love that. When you, I just love that story. When you went for that role, you know, what was it? Were you asked to apply? Was it you saying, look, I want this? I mean, what was it that kind of drove you to go for it?
I think I just wanted to I was watching them and I was like, I can do that. I know I can do that. I was closing business as a desk sales agent for other people. And I was like, I know I can do better than what this guy on what my line manager was doing. And I went for it, and it was so funny. All the guys like, Sophie, listen, it's a man's role. This is a guy's job. You haven't got the minerals, and look at me now, so it's fine.
It's amazing. Amazing. I love that. Listen, I guess on to the next one, right? If you look back, right, and maybe you're looking back even further than that first job, right? You know, whether it's, you know, someone leaving school or leaving college or uni or you know, just embarking for the first time. What's the one bit of advice, Sophie, that you know that's in your DNA that you would give to someone starting out?
I think it would just to be confident in your ability and love what you do, especially with work. You know, we spend so many hours at work, and my commute to work is about 2 hours there and back. I think, you know, you spend so much time on the train and sleepless nights preparing for meetings and so on. I think it's so important that you have a love for your job, and if you don't have the confidence to do that, or the self belief, then I don't think you're ever going to really enjoy your career as much as you could. And meeting new people, and you need to go in there and own it. And I think if you understand that you've got to where you are because you've earned your place in your role, you should be able to do it with pride. And I think it starts with confidence in yourself. I think it's something I've always had, and I don't think I would have got here now without just saying, I can do this, I can 100%. It's quite funny, really. When I was younger, so I've got a huge family. I'm one of 7. I've got 4 brothers, and when we were younger, and we're all in the garden, and we're playing football, and we're playing cricket, and they're like, oh, I don't want Sophie on my team. No way. And at the time, I was like, I play with all the big boys, and then I started playing football, and before I knew it, I was playing with the girls, and I was like, look, if I can play with the boys at home, and I can do anything now. And I reckon if you ask them all now, they probably hate to admit that their little sister's probably the best baller in the family. So, so I think the confidence helped, defo. I think it's key for me. I think you need to be confident, defo.
Oh, I love that. Tell me this: if you, I'm just picturing your brothers listening into this. All right, well, you should definitely. If they're not, you need to send them the snap of this.
Yeah.
Tell me this, right? So like you just said there about being passionate and loving what you do, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, you know, you're an out and out salesperson, and you know, and it's absolutely, it's no surprise to me or to anyone probably listening to you that you've gone on to do the things that you've done. But think about technology, right? You're in a business now that obviously is in the tech space. Did you get to love tech? Do you get to fall in love with that as an industry, or is it the job of sales?
I think it started with the job of sales, because when I've always worked in telecoms, but very basic, like just like a line and a broadband. It wasn't until I came to Foehn and you realize there's actually so much more in technology. And I think the only reason why I probably have a love for it now is I'm always learning. I'm always on the phone to someone. I didn't even know our product could even do this, and it's constantly developing. I think that's the excitement. There's always a new roadmap. There's always something new happening. And I think at the moment where it's so popular, it's so nice to call someone and educate them on what's actually out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Listen, this is I found this really probably, I don't know, maybe the most interesting question to ask people over the last couple of days. What's the best or most worthwhile investment that you have made in yourself over the years, right? And look, that can be anything, all right? And I mean, it could be money, it could be time, it could be energy, it could be a relationship, but what's the one that stands out for you?
I think for me, it'd be my little girl. So I've got an 18-month-old daughter called Tilly, and she has such a big impact on me and completely changed my perspective on life. I'm not a young mum, but I'd say I'm probably the younger side of becoming a parent quite early on.
Yeah.
I watch her walk around with so much confidence, like she owns a place and not a fear in the world. And I think for my little girl to be like that as her mum, I just need to ensure, that never changes.
Yeah.
I think as the older generation, it's our job to make sure that young girls and women know that you can be anything you want to be. A small bit of heart and passion and confidence in your ability to get there. I think you can do it.
Yeah. Well, listen, no, I've absolutely clearly I don't know her, and but I've no doubt that she looks up at her mom and is inspired and very proud. And yeah, listen, what a role model you are to her.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, listen, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Similar kind of theme, Sophie, similar kind of theme. And I don't mean to be material. I'm definitely not asking the question to be material, right? But I think this is a really interesting one. What purchase have you made recently, or relatively recently, that has kind of really positively impacted your life, if any?
So aside from running the sales academy at Foehn, I play football for a team called Welling United. It's quite a good thing to talk about, actually, because this is the first. So Welling's quite a well-known club. They play at semi-professional standard, but they've never had a women's team. So this is the first season that they have a women's team there. There's a huge buzz around the club, and we go to games and we play home games at the men's stadium, and we get so many local fans there, all supporting the women. So because of that, I basically got quite heavily involved with coaching the younger girls there. So under 6, 7s, 8s, 10s. And because I was helping them, I basically purchased a strength and conditioning course. So aside from my sports science degree and a level 1 in coaching, I can now have a another qualification as such to help give me the next level coaching to sort of the younger girls in football. And it's mad. You wouldn't believe how many girls at a young age have a love for the game and the love for the teammates. It's just second to none, really. And I'm sure they'll all be on telly for the next sort of 5 to 10 years.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's another sort of part of something that I do, and the girls there just love it, absolutely love it.
So just on a little bit of detail. So you've gone off and become a strength and conditioning coach. So you're now an expert in being able to coach other people around strength and conditioning. Is that
I'm in the process of doing that. Yeah, so I paid for the qualification, so I'm learning at the side of Foehn.
Okay, amazing. And strength and conditioning. I mean, listen, I've never coached kids, but like, how early can you coach the principles of strength and conditioning to young girls and indeed young boys?
So we'll probably sort of, like year 7 and up. There's so many girls who struggle with injuries in the knee, and certain muscles might grow quicker than their bones. And so essentially strength and conditioning helps with sort of injury prevention. And it's just good for the girls to understand that at a young age they can ensure that they don't get injured and they're
looking after themselves.
Yeah,
brilliant. How long is that course? How long does it take?
They say sort of 3 months if you're doing sort of 6 to 8 hours a week.
Okay.
So I'm on the job.
Yeah, brilliant. Love that. Love it. So listen, on the kind of the wind up or the wind down, and I think it's really interesting. I think you're in probably potentially one of the best positions or situations of all of the ladies that we're speaking to this week to be able to answer this question. But you know, lots of people tuned in, Sophie. Lots of people will be watching you, or will be watching certainly some of the stuff that we put out of this, with a view to wanting to get hired, number one, and number two, get hired by a technology business. What is Sophie Hayes's kind of, you know, one big tip, the golden nugget?
My tip is just to go and do it. I think the technology industry is exciting. There's constant development in different platforms, and the tech industry is very male dominated. But I don't think that should stop any female wanting to be successful in the tech world. I think the women at Foehn, you know, that they're a great example of what you can achieve. We enjoy coming to work. We get involved with all the banter. I think we give as good as we get to all the guys in the office. You know, we hold our own. I think there's so much to know in the technology world. And that probably does seem quite daunting to start with. But you know, I went to Foehn, I didn't know anything about contact center technology as such. But with a little bit of investment in time and into the role and into Foehn as a whole, you know, I've got a successful lead gen team now, and they're a credit to Foehn. You know, they do probably the hardest part of sales there is.
Of course they do.
Day in, day out. Now even working from home, and they're still managing to, you know, find good quality opportunities. I think for me, just go and do it. I think you have to just get involved. There's so much to learn, but there's so much development in technology products sort of daily. Get in there early, understand how it all works, and go for it. I think there's so much space for women now in the tech space, and we should show them we should show the guys how it's done.
Yeah, love it. I listen, I remember back to, you know, the first time I spoke to you, and you know, you and I haven't met face to face, when we have this phone remote relationship, you know, that we've had over a couple of years. But look, I think what I have always felt with you is that, like, you are this just phenomenal energy force from a personality character, right? And you've just said to people to just go and do it and own it and just get on with it, right? And
just go and do it.
It is you. If you cut you open, and like, that's what you are, right? And I think, listen, that is an amazing piece of advice. You know, people might not necessarily have the energy that Sophie Hayes has, but I think if they can learn something from you, to just literally have that confidence to go and, you know, to go and smash it, then definitely. Brilliant advice.
Thanks, Rob.
So Sophie, listen, it is well, look, you can see the smile. I'm always smiling talking to you. You're an absolute legend. I love talking to you, and I just wanted to say thanks a million for doing this. I think you're an inspiration to your own daughter. You will be an inspiration to loads of girls, and loads that you're coaching, and loads of women who are starting careers in technology. And on behalf of everyone, we just wanted to say thanks a million for giving us an insight.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for letting me jump on.
Yeah, brilliant. So folks, look, I need not say any more. I think I hope that has been hugely valuable. I know it has. Look, we have put together, for anyone who's tuned in today or watching this, we've put together a course to help people get hired in technology. And we're also wrapping a bonus into that, which is helping people put together their CVs and their profiles, again, so that they're in the best possible position to get hired by tech and software and SaaS organizations. Folks, have a great day. Sophie, thanks a million, and look after yourself. We'll see you soon.
See you later. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Take care.